Okay, welcome back to another podcast.
Yep, that's what this
like
is.
we suffered a stroke for a second, but I think we're okay. So today we're going to be talking about Wandavision. Wandavision currently has 97% Rotten Tomatoes, and an 97% critic score, 86% audience score. Here, can I have a sip of water? So give your general thoughts on the first two episodes and what you think of the show going forward.
I think it was good as someone who understands what's going on. It's good. I think for the people that just let's watch this Marvel show and don't know really what's going on, they're gonna be confused. Where all of a sudden it's like it's
I think it's interesting because it's like a mix of that, where it's like it's weird because at the same time it's like any person can watch the show, but at the same time only Marvel fans can watch the show. It's a weird thing because I can show someone who's never heard of a Marvel show and show them the show, and they'll totally get it for what it is. But it's a interesting thing because it's like it's the same time something that non-Marvel fans can watch and enjoy, and Marvel fans can watch and enjoy, but both categories.
See, here's the thing about the normal people that watch it. They'll watch it and be like, "Oh, this is funny and stuff." They'll just be confused. They'll be understanding basically what's going on, they won't understand how they're trapped there. They'll just be like, "Oh, it's this show the theme of the 60s." They'll be confused when they show it coming out of the TV.
And I think for this first two episodes delivered me what I wanted from these first two episodes. Something quirky, something different, something weird. Because every MCU film is this big save the world type thing, and so it was cool to kind of see kind of a. And not only was it just playing into the kind of 50s and 60s sitcom route for the first two films, or first two episodes, it was also still very funny in that. It wasn't let's just make it look like a 90s, or not 90s, a 50s and 60s era show, but also make it funny like a 60s and 50s era
something
show.
I don't know, not sure if you don't know this or not. I don't know this. I'm not sure if you know this or not. So when they were zooming out and they're showing the TV show with the credits, are the SWORD agents watching it like that? Is she doing something with her powers to make it so it's actually like that? Or is that just for us?
No, I don't think. No, that's the ending of episode 1 was the only part in the entire show where it wasn't WandaVision. Where it wasn't the world that Wanda. Well, we don't know. See, that's what I think is interesting. Is this show, is what I love about the show, is on the outside it can appear as this, 50s, 60s sitcom, but in the inside this deep mystery, where I think as this. See, many people thought this would be like a Mandalorian style every episode, this crazy mini adventure, whereas this show seems to be, and you'll probably agree with me on this, that seems to be this kind of build up to this climactic moment while still individually giving us their individual arcs.
This is strange. It's not like The Mandalorian where it's just episodic it is that. It's just.
But it is.
Yeah, it is, but it isn't. And it's not the same as a Marvel movie because they can't do a movie of this where all of a sudden they just
because
can't do a movie
what I think is
of that.
key. What is the key to these first couple of episodes is to establish number one, a couple things. Number one, Wanda and Vision's romance together, because even in the MCU films, their romance was there, but it was always in the backdrop from war and fighting. So A, it's to really understand their relationship and how they work together. B, it's to establish what this world is. Do world building of what is this world? All these crazy people inside of it. From Dottie to Agnes to the boss and his wife, who was even when he was choking. The creepiest part was when he was choking. Instead of saying help him, he's like, stop it. That's interesting. And this stuff with the Dottie stuff. The Dottie stuff was interesting. You know who Dottie is? The girl was interesting because she seemed like she knew who Wanda was.
Yeah.
Which was interesting.
So something was strange. So some people think she might be Mephisto. Because so you know how what's her name? Agathis?
Yeah.
Agnes says, when she said something about the devil, she said, and he's not she said something. Here, let me see. I think I can't search.
Well, her name in the comics is Agnes.
Agatha Harkness.
Agatha Harkness.
Yeah, I can't search it, but
just don't search.
She says something about Dottie being the devil. So it could be kind of hinting
it could kind of be a twist. I think that would be interesting. This is my theory. So somehow, some unexplained way, I still don't have a great answer to what this world is. I think it's so I don't know about that, but I think SWORD, being its intergalactic thing as it is, has some sort of way that they're able to tap into this world and just watch it. Like, they can't communicate, and the only way of communicating to Wanda is really to either send someone from SWORD in, because I think what they did is they sent Maria into this world and erased her mind, but yet was able to get insight from her. Because I think they erased her mind at some point, because it seemed like Rambos was genuine about her name, genuine about not knowing Wanda and her powers.
So, no, I don't think they erased her mind. Like, are you saying SWORD did?
Yeah.
No, I don't think SWORD did. I think going into Wanda's reality, Wanda is just doing it.
I wonder, that could be interesting.
I think that's
But the flip side of this, we don't know if this is really Wanda's doing. Because what could happen would be like someone read Wanda's mind or someone and just made... Like, what if, like, Mephisto in the show read Wanda's mind and kind of created this ideal world for her? Like, created everything she sees, and in a sense to make it her ideal version of everything. What if it has everything Wanda wants, not because Wanda's creating it, but because someone's creating it for Wanda? I definitely think the Agnes has a bigger role than any of us think, because I think she's so predominant in, like, the trailers and stuff. I think she's kind of, like, the fact that she's kind of, like, the third... Like there's Wanda and Vision up here as the main characters, but then right below it is Agnes. So do you think she has a big role in the series going forward?
Yeah.
Do you think she's playing Agatha Harkness?
Yeah.
Who basically in the comics, I think, like, worked for Mephisto.
What's her husband's name? Like,
Ralph.
Wouldn't it be funny if he turns out to be Mephisto?
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think there's a couple ways of looking at that, because I think in, like, a lot of sitcoms of that era that I've read and, like, breakdown and stuff, that in a lot of sitcoms they'll reference a character who never is in the show. Like, even Veep,
President Hughes.
President all the time, but he never shows up. So in sitcoms back in the day, and even still today, they reference people who were never in the show. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm sure they're blanking on it. Like, I know, I remember because of the new Peanuts movie, but, like, in the Peanuts, they never showed the principal.
Or the adults.
So it's happened all the time where they just don't show in these, like, sitcoms. They don't show, like, there's, like, a character they talk about, but they don't show.
I know.
But I definitely think... I don't think there's a chance for that. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think the thing is, this show is going to be all about paying attention to details. Because...
I don't know if you've seen this, but, like, so let me get it. Well, I don't think I can find the image, but in the WandaVision 60s opening,
yeah,
you could see a helmet in it. Like, at the end when they were sitting, there was a helmet, and it was the Grim Reaper's helmet. Some people thought it was Galactus, but it's not crazy. Galactus. So it was the Grim Reaper's helmet.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think, I've heard a lot of stuff about Episode 3, that Episode 3 is, like, where it starts to pick up, but I think, you know what I think with this show, I mean, it doesn't need more episodes, but it would have kind of been cool to kind of have more episodes just to the sitcom.
I'd watch a whole show.
Because, like, many people, I think, are complaining. Like, I think this is jarring for a lot of people to go from Endgame, where Wanda's like, when it's jarring to go from Wanda, who's like, you took everything from me.
Well,
I don't even know you.
I think
you will. That Wanda to this Wanda, and then Vision dead to here, and from Spider-Man Far From Home to all this chaos to we're in this happy sitcom. It's jarring to people, but I think like for us MCU fans, we knew what to expect. So it wasn't like, okay, we understand. This is sitcom world.
Alright,
this is
so
world.
I think she's going to do something bad at the end, like House of M, something bad. Because once, like, SWORD gets her out of there, whatever, SWORD fixes it or something, and that happens, she'll be pissed and go back to Avengers Endgame level. And maybe we'll have a cameo from Doctor Strange.
You know, there was a theory going on that I've read over the internet that there's a theory that everybody in this world has superpowers. That the big black guy turns into the Beast. That Jean Grey becomes Dottie. That Agnes is the villain. That the principal becomes
You're talking about Herb.
That the boss becomes Professor X. That and then like as more characters get introduced. I don't believe that for 1 second.
No, that's not.
I don't know.
I do not. They could become mutants, but I don't believe.
I don't know. The mutants thing is hard because I think the mutants were always supposed to be like allegories for like minorities. Like it was created during like the civil rights era.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the creation of mutants were supposed to be like they're supposed to be minorities and that people are like discriminating.
It was supposed to be like the equivalent of like a superhero world where instead of like black people and women and like gay people, instead the minorities are mutants and people have tensions and prejudice against mutants. But I think there's so much baggage between Magneto and Professor X. Like that's what made the original X-Men film so great is you're already coming into the first X-Men film with so much baggage, so much history between two rivals who have been friends for decades, and mutants have been looked down upon for decades. And just bringing the mutants into the MCU just feels like a jarring thing.
Here's something I have just started thinking about now. What if at the end Doctor Strange probably might not happen, comes in and like is the one to get her out of there? And then in Multiverse of Madness she's the villain and she's trying to get revenge.
Yeah, but you see, this is the thing I also struggle with. It's hard for me to really say that. What's tricky? It
would be cool, but probably not probable.
What's tricky, and that could happen. But I'm not down with that. The only thing that could stop that is I think a lot of people are forgetting. I think you even forgot it. I forgot it, but then I figured out like when they started to look at the MCU release dates. You probably think Doctor Strange is the second out of the three. It's the last one.
Yeah, I know.
So Spider-Man.
That's 3 true. Spider-Man
is the second
is
one,
next.
which is I don't think. See, this is my thing. I don't think WandaVision and Spider-Man 3 are gonna be like directly connected like WandaVision and Doctor Strange 2. I think it's gonna be connected similar to how. I'm trying to think of the analogy I'm looking for. This is what I'll say. It's similar to how, like, I think WandaVision and Doctor Strange are going to be Infinity War to Endgame. Whereas I think WandaVision to Spider-Man 3 is going to be more of the civil, not civil, I'm trying to think, more of like the middle, more of like the bridge, or not, more of the bridge, more of the...
So, but the thing is, they have to be, like, they're going to be more connected than most MCU films are to each other.
Yeah, I think
because Doctor Strange is in there, so it has to be. And I think they're doing multiverse in Spider-Man 3.
Here's what I think. I do not think Doctor Strange will be in this, and I'll tell you why. Doctor Strange is gonna be in Spider-Man 3. But Wanda isn't. So if Doctor Strange rescued Wanda, and then got Wanda, to the Sanctum Sanctorum or whatever. I can't tongue twister. To the Sanctum in New York, or in England, or in wherever, in China, wherever. If he brought Wanda there, then that's weird that she wouldn't be in Spider-Man 3 unless they just have a throwaway line of like, oh, Wanda's back at the Sanctum, which is why I think Wanda's presence will be felt in I forgot to say the spoilers. Jeez.
Yeah.
God. I'll say that.
Put in the title.
Can you imagine someone clicks on the video? It's like, God, oh my God, there's the beekeeper is important. Oh, that's actually, I said it now.
Oh, we haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah, the beekeeper is not the villain, obviously. He's part of SWORD. You saw it on the back, but maybe he's killed the SWORD agent and snuck in, sneak in. Maybe SWORD did this and like he was just an electrician. Like, oh, the TV is busted. I'm gonna go inside the universe and fix it. I don't know. Maybe there's so many different ideas where this could go because I believe every single thing that happened in the first 2 episodes are important. Yes. See, I think you can look at this. You can
They're
look
not
at
gonna
this.
throw away something.
You could look at this surface level and just look at it. Oh, yeah, cute little sitcom. But you can look at a deeper level. And by the way, these episodes on their own are so funny and so great. Like the dinner thing is like classic of like walk out of one room and then someone comes in and then miscommunication. Second episode, funny like magician stuff and so it was very funny. See, that's the thing. What I love is what I think this show does perfectly is give you great individual sitcom stories, but have a greater story. See, what some shows do is they kind of have, like, each episode builds up and builds up and builds up to a climactic point. But this show does that while still individually, episode to episode, giving you great content. So I'm going to tell you, out of the 2 episodes, which one was your favorite?
Second.
Yeah, second. So, out of all the characters, which side character, not Wandavision, which side character is your favorite?
Herb.
Yeah, Herb.
Herb is funny.
Yeah, Herb is great. I mean, they're all
Agnes
funny.
is funny, too.
I think the most important is probably Agnes out of the side characters, but
Dottie can be important.
Dottie seems to be important more than we think.
Oh, and then there's Monica Rambeau.
Obviously Monica Rambeau. And Rambeau, Monica.
And then FBI
and characters we haven't
guy.
even seen. Here's what's interesting. So let me go into this for a second. This is something interesting. If I Google WandaVision and what comes up, and then if I go down, wait, hold on. Boom, boom, boom. WandaVision premiere. And if you look at the full cast interview, so look what happens. So, I don't know if this means nothing or means everything. I don't know. But, look who... So, they have these, like, guests. Like, these, like, fans and stuff. Ask questions. And toward the very end of the whole thing...
Can you just say what happened?
So, look. Loki even asks a question. And then Doctor Strange asks a question. Benedict Cumberbatch. But I don't know if that, like, means, like, he'll be in it or anything. But it's interesting that they got him to do that. I don't know. Probably means nothing. What's interesting is going to be how the decades play into it all. It's very interesting how the kids play into it all.
They're just doing that so they can speed up the kids, I think.
Yeah. I think the interesting stuff is how she was able to just get a kid. Like, I guess that's the thing. How the kid was able...
She couldn't know. That was her using her
powers.
powers.
I guess. Yeah, but that's interesting. That's interesting that she could do it. And one thing that is also, I think, find interesting is how she was able to just create things out of thin air. Because I felt like she never really was able to do that.
When did she create things out of thin air?
When Vision was flying during the magic trick and then out of thin air she was able to create the boat.
Oh yeah, that's true.
When she was able to change the piano to a cardboard.
I don't know, maybe we don't know all her powers.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what's fascinating me. Where she goes from Age of Ultron, she can only just move stuff with her hands. Goes to Civil War where she can fly. Then in Infinity War she can pluck out a time stone and destroy it. Then you move into Endgame, and she could nearly kill Thanos if it wasn't for all the ships blasting on her. Then you come into this show, and she could create things out of thin air. There's no limit to her power. If she could create things out of thin air with a moment's notice in a happy, gleeful mood, there's no telling you her potential. If she's angry, if she's mad, she can create things out of thin air. She can fly. She can practically control Vision if she uses it, because she can control the time stone.
She did that in Civil War. She controlled the Mind Stone, making it so he phased.
Yeah,
and Hawkeye.
And I think that's so fascinating, which is why this is interesting. Vision, I think we're missing something. I think everybody's overlooking something. Vision's not confirmed for Doctor Strange 2. Vision's not confirmed for Spider-Man 3. Vision is a figment of her imagination. See, I think everybody is overlooking the fact that Wanda's the only one confirmed to be anything else but WandaVision.
Oh yeah, is Vision right now? Do we know if Vision's in her head, or she took the soul of the actual robot, or is this just her imagination?
So that's another thing.
Of what?
That's another thing is if she's just. It's interesting to see how you're able to create stuff and manifest a time stone.
Time stone, mind
stone. Infinity stone. That's what I meant to say. That's interesting because I get you can manifest. You can create human beings by having superpowers. You can create cities by superpowers. You can create locations in this whole fake world by superpowers. But replicating an Infinity Stone seems so hard to do. It'll be interesting if he can even use the Infinity Stone, and if he does, what does that imply? Does that imply that whoever is doing this is? See, that's the thing. That's why I think it probably is Wanda creating this world. If Vision can use the Time Stone or Mind Stone, if he can use the Mind Stone, I would believe Wanda created this world because.
She has the power.
Because she's the only one who has the power to control the Mind Stone. See, since the beginning of the MCU, they all play this up. That the Infinity Stones, these Infinity Stones are so important. These Infinity Stones are so important and crucial to the MCU and so valuable that you can't just create an Infinity Stone out of thin air. Which is why the only person that they've ever established in the MCU who can control a Mind Stone is 3 people. Doctor Strange. Technically, all the sorcerers. So everybody with magic. Wanda, every sorcerer, and Vision. But even within every sorcerer, not every sorcerer has the power to utilize it right. Because some sorcerers might get their hands on the Time Stone, but it take control of them. Whereas, very few probably can control the Time Stone. And Wanda's the only one who controlled the Mind Stone. And so, it'll be interesting to see. You know what's interesting that I'm thinking about this is the Infinity Stones Infinity Stones seem to play just as much value as they did before the Infinity Saga, which is interesting. How do you think they'll ever solve the multiverse thing, or do you think that's gonna be final? That's how the MCU is going forward? Or they try to solve it?
What do you mean solve it?
Do you think they're gonna try to reverse reverse the multiverse, or just have the multiverse happen but just stop the evil people in it? Because there's multiple ways of looking at it, how they're gonna happen in Spider-Man 3 and Doctor Strange 2. Are they gonna try to stop the villains, or are they gonna try to completely reverse the multiverse?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Alright.
Wait, did we talk? Yeah, we talked about Deadpool 3 being rated R.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Alright, then I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming.
We'll see next week when we talk about Wandavision.